All right, so here we are, first episode. So what I'm gonna start off for the very first episode, this kind of web series I mentioned, is we're gonna go leg-based focus. All right. So today will pretty much consist of I'm going to walk you guys through my warm-up, through my mobility sequence that I do depending on the day. I choose a different joint, whether it's hip mobility, lower back, mid back, upper back, shoulders, things of that nature. Today we'll go hip, and then after that I'll take you through the actual workout. All right, so we'll go over a couple of leg-based exercises, and then towards the end, I'll go ahead and show you guys a little bit of a cool down too, just so you can see how you can typically structure a day in the gym, especially being a leg day, like I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys today. All right, so again, we'll start off with the warm-up coming up next, and then we'll go to the mobility sequence right after. All right, now, when it comes to warm-up, of course, there's different methods you can use to get your body warmed up, primed and ready to go for your lifts. You can do treadmill, you can go for a run, bike, whatever the case may be. Today, I'm gonna go ahead and knock on a jump rope. All right, so when it comes to warm-ups, I'll go anywhere from about 8 to 10 minutes, just steady state cardio. Again, the purpose of this is just to get your body warm, ready to rock for the actual lifts and mobility things. So it doesn't need to be anything too strenuous, too hard, too tough. Again, just make sure you get your heart rate up, keep it up, break a little bit of a sweat prior to doing anything else. All right, so jump rope first, mobility stuff right after. All right, so now that we've gotten that out the way, let's go ahead and hop right into some of the stretching and the mobility stuff I mentioned before. So when it comes to stretching, especially as a part of the warm-up, I like going dynamic, all right? I like be a little more active on my feet, get it moving a little more as opposed to just the good old static stretching, which we will use as the cool down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys through a couple of exercises I use kind of as activations. Knock those out of the way. Once those activations are over, we'll go right into the dynamic stretching sequence prior to some of the mobility stuff, all right? All right, now that we've gotten all that out the way, as you can see, should be sweating a little bit after you've done the warm up and then some of the dynamic stuff. Now we'll go straight into the mobility stuff. Now I do this to kind of prep and prime myself, especially when I'm doing a leg day. I'll get my hips ready. So again, we're gonna focus on the hip joint today. Try to just open them up, get them nice and loose, so that way when it comes to doing squats and things of that nature, I can go full depth. I don't have to worry about feeling stiff while I'm lifting, all right? Because that can get in the way, real quick, as far as you actually doing your lifts, all right? I don't wanna be tight, and I want that to be the reason why you can't squat as heavy as you can on any given day. So again, hip mobility stuff right now. Once we get done with that, we'll head straight into the lifts, all right? So we'll start off with the squat first and work our way down from there. All right, now that we've got our bodies primed, we got our body temperature up, all right, we're sweating a little bit, we're stretched out, got those hips open so that we can hit all these leg exercises. Let's start with the very first one of the day, which a lot of people consider the king of all leg exercises, all right? Good old classic barbell squat. Now we'll do these, I'm gonna let you guys just watch the video, and I'll go ahead and give you guys pointers as I'm knocking these out, all right? I'll show you a couple different angles so you can get a feel for it, and then know how you should look from the front, side, back, wherever the case may be, all right? Here we go.
Now you want to make sure that you're nice and center on the bar. Once you've done so and you've taken those a couple of steps back to have some space, you want to make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart, that you're keeping all the weight on your heels, and that your back is as flat as you can keep it. All right, as you can see right there, I'm going down to about 90 degrees at my knees before coming back up. From the back view, you'll see that my shoulder blades are retracted so that I can ensure that my back is as flat as I can possibly keep it. All right, and again, I want to make sure that every time we come up out of this, whether we're driving through our heels, think about pushing the ground away from you. That's what I always tell people. You'll see from the front here, another thing that I do to ensure that my body position is right is I keep my chest up. All right, notice here that I'm keeping it up throughout the entire exercise as I go down and as I go up, so that I make sure that I'm in the proper body position while I'm doing the squat from the first all the way to the last rep.
All right, squat out the way. One thing I always say too, especially when it comes to leg day, is to make sure that you always are as strong on one leg as you are on two. All right, meaning that you want to do some single leg isolation exercises. So I'm gonna go over the single leg Bulgarian, some good classic leg exercise. Again, we'll go one at a time, get that isolation. Again, this is good for kind of balancing out maybe some muscle deficiencies. You have one leg kind of stronger than the other. Just to be able to stabilize a little better, being strong on one leg will cause you to be more stable, which will transition to like other legs and things of that nature. All right, I want to be very well-rounded in everything that you do. Just go ahead and hit this next one.
Now with the split squats, you want to make sure that you're in a position where you're as stable and as balanced as you can be so that you don't have to worry about jumping around and things like that while you're doing this. Once you've done so, very similar to the squat, okay, the leg that's doing the work, so the right leg in this case, as you can see, you want to drive off that heel, okay? So the back foot is just there for support, all right? This is essentially just like a one-legged squat. You'll also see my hands mimicking as if I were holding dumbbells. So for the people that, were interested in adding some resistance to this, that's exactly what you can do. Just dumbbells by your side, any type of added resistance. And I also tell people to think about pushing your hips backwards, as you can see from this angle here, almost like quote unquote loading your hips as you do this.
All right, now we've gotten those out the way. We've gotten the good old compound lift, and then we've gotten the single leg isolation exercise. Now we're gonna focus on two, as I mentioned earlier, being a well-rounded individual as far as lifting. You're gonna be good in the multiple planes, all right? Meaning the sagittal, the transverse, and the frontal plane, all right? I'll go over those in detail at a later time, but for right now, we're gonna focus on moving in the frontal plane, all right? To do those, we're gonna go lateral lunges. Now with this one, we get to move in a different plane as well as still kind of work on that isolation with the single leg exercises, all right, since it is a lunge. So I'll go over these now, show you these couple of angles, then we're gonna have one last exercise to close the day out.
So lateral lunges, as I mentioned just before this, we will be working in the frontal plane. So coming to the side here. You'll notice that as I do these lunges, I take that big step. Once I've taken that big step to the side, I kind of push my hips back. All right, so this angle from the front, you'll see that as I'm doing these, I'm keeping my knee over my toe. My toe will be slightly turned out as I go down, but make sure that you keep your chest up as you see me doing here as well. My hands, just like the last angle, are showing you ways that you can mimic holding resistance, all right? So I use my knee or foot that's doing the work to split my hands and then knock out the exercise that way.
All right, now we've gotten the compound exercise out the way, got a couple single leg ones, played around in a little bit of a different plane. Now we're gonna go ahead and wrap up by hitting our posterior chain, all right? So posterior chain consists of your lower back, glutes, and hamstrings, all right? For that, all we're gonna need is a stability ball here. We're gonna knock out some leg curls, and that'll wrap us up as far as the lifts, exercises, warm up, dynamic stuff, and the mobility, and then the only thing we're gonna have left is our cool down.
Now, you want to start from a supine position, all right? So laying on your back. I usually put my ankle / Achilles at the top of the ball before I begin the movement. As you can see, I'm pulling in here. Now, this angle, all right, you can see that I bring my hips up before I begin doing the leg curl, and you'll notice that I do not put my hips back down on the ground. This is for those of you that want to kind of progress and advance the classic stability ball leg curl. See, as you can see here, keep your hips up the entire time. It's a little more demanding on you. It causes your glutes and your hamstrings to be contracted the entire time while you do the exercise.
All right, now that we've gotten all the exercises out the way, we're gonna go straight into the cool down, as I mentioned towards the beginning of the video. Now with the cool down, we're gonna go more towards a static stretch approach as opposed to the dynamic like we did at the beginning. All right, so with this one, we're just gonna hold. We're gonna hold for an extended period of time. For these, I usually like going anywhere from like 30 to 60 seconds, and then that'll conclude today. So when it comes to cool down, it is pretty vital as far as making gains and kind of results, progress, making sure that your body's getting what it wants, because the cool down is the very first step of your recovery from the workout that day. All right, and afterwards, you want to get a good meal in you, protein, replenish everything, and then that'll, of course, maximize your gains and your results as much as your body possibly can. All right, so let's go through the static stuff, and that'll wrap us all up. And And that concludes today's workout. All right, so that's what you can kind of format your leg day to look like. Again, everything. The most important things are, of course, the warm up, the lifts themselves, and the cool down at the end, just to let your body know that, okay, hey, I'm done. We're done with this. You know, we can get to go home. So. Hope you guys enjoyed this first video. Again, this is video 1. I'm gonna try to bring this to you guys on a monthly basis. Again, it'll be like a web series. And then, we'll go through different focuses on different days. So next month, maybe something different. Maybe my conditioning metcon type of day. Maybe one of my upper body days, like a press day, a pull day, whatever the case may be. But you guys will know by the title of the video what the focus is on that day and what we'll be doing. All right. So if there's any questions, concerns, comments, anything of that nature, feel free to send me a message. It's all good. Or if you feel like you just want to comment on the video as well, that's perfectly fine. But that concludes today. And we'll be back at you next month with the next focus.